All right, so you sent us some really interesting stuff on RPG Life Sciences.
Yeah.
We've got their Q3 FY25 financials,
Okay.
an independent auditor's review, a press release, and then some filings with some big Indian stock exchanges.
Looks like.
Looks like you really want to get a handle on how this company's doing.
Yeah.
And we're here to help you do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. We're going to break it all down.
Yeah.
We'll focus in on what's important
Yeah.
and hopefully uncover some interesting insights for you.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And speaking of insights,
Yeah.
that press release starts off with some pretty exciting news, right?
Yeah, right away.
12% jump in revenue year over year.
That's great.
And a massive 32% surge in profit before tax.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we like to see.
It's a good quarter.
It's a good quarter.
And what's even more interesting is
Yeah.
this isn't just a one-off.
Right.
Looking at the past 9 months, RPG Life Sciences has seen their profit before tax.
Yeah.
And this is before we account for some kind of unusual item.
Before exceptional items. Yeah.
Increased by 25%.
Yeah.
Compared to the same period last year.
That's solid.
That suggests this is a real trend. It's not just some,
Yeah. This isn't a fluke or anything.
lucky break or anything.
Exactly.
And they're not just growing, they're also becoming more efficient too.
For sure.
That EBITDA margin,
Okay.
which is basically a measure of how much profit
Yeah.
they made for every rupee of sales, has jumped from 25.9% to 30.4% year over year.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And they're still operating with no debt,
Really?
which is,
That's always a great sign.
such a great indicator of financial health and stability.
It really is. It means they're managing their finances well.
Yeah.
They're not over-leveraged, that kind of thing.
Yeah. So the press release kind of paints a really nice picture.
It does.
But
Let's get into the details.
Let's get into the details. Let's see what the financial statements themselves are telling us.
Okay, sounds good.
Just a heads up, we will be talking in terms of lakhs,
Right.
which is 100,000 Indian rupees.
Yeah.
So when we see numbers in the thousands of lakhs,
Yeah.
we're talking some serious cash here.
Yeah. Big numbers.
Big money.
Big money.
And focusing on the statement of unaudited financial results,
Right.
we can see the details behind these,
Exactly.
pretty impressive revenue and profit figures.
Yeah.
We won't get bogged down with every single line item.
Right. No need to get too granular.
But the key takeaways are there.
Yeah.
Strong revenue from operations,
Okay.
healthy total income,
Uh-huh.
well-managed expenses,
Yep.
and, of course, a healthy profit for the period.
That's what we like to see.
Right.
The bottom line is looking good.
And speaking of healthy profits,
Yeah.
the earnings per share,
Okay.
both basic and diluted,
Right.
have also seen a really nice jump
Uh-huh.
compared to the same period last year.
Yeah.
So that's good news for anyone
Definitely.
holding RPG Life Sciences stock, right?
Yeah, that's what investors want to see.
So,
Because basically, earnings per share,
Yeah.
or EPS,
nah,
is a key metric that investors use
Right.
to assess a company's profitability.
got it.
Basically, it tells you how much profit the company made
Go.
for each share of stock.
All right.
So a rising EPS generally indicates that the company
Right.
is becoming more profitable, which is what investors love to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, along with these financial statements, we also have this report from an independent auditor.
Right.
So what does this report tell us?
Okay, so think of the auditor's report
At-
as a sort of independent check.
Right.
They've reviewed the financial statements
Okay.
to make sure everything's accurate and transparent.
Uh-huh.
It's not a full-blown audit,
Okay.
but it provides what they call moderate assurance
Okay.
that the numbers are reliable. It basically adds a layer of trust and credibility
Yeah.
for the company's financial reporting.
So it's like a second set of eyes, basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
And one thing that caught my eye
Right.
is that the auditor specifically flags Note 5
Okay.
in the financial statements, which deals with a fire incident.
Oh,
So this seems like something we should look into.
definitely. Let's dig into that.
So to be clear for our listener,
Yeah.
there was a fire at one of RPG Life Sciences manufacturing plants
Right.
on January 2nd, 2025.
I see.
The key thing to understand here
Uh-huh.
is that this happened after the quarter
Okay.
we've been discussing ended.
So it's outside the reporting period.
Yeah, so it won't show up in these Q3 financial results.
Right.
It's what's called...
A non-adjusting subsequent event.
Exactly.
Right.
That's a mouthful.
It is.
But it's a crucial point
It is.
because it means the fire's financial impact,
Right.
the cost of the repairs,
Yeah.
the potential disruptions to production. Yeah, all that stuff.
All of that is only going to be reflected in
Yeah.
future reports.
That's going to be something to keep an eye on because
Yeah.
it could affect their performance down the line.
So, from what we've gathered, the fire affected one of their manufacturing blocks,
Okay,
including, buildings and machinery and inventory.
sounds pretty serious.
Yeah, that does sound pretty serious.
Yeah.
Fortunately, no injuries were reported,
Okay.
and the company has said other departments are operating normally.
Well, that's good news, at least.
Yeah. And they also believe they have sufficient insurance coverage,
Okay.
and they're expecting
Yeah.
an interim payment soon.
All right. So that'll help with the recovery process.
Yeah, and they've also said that they're working to minimize disruptions
Good.
to their operations.
That's important.
So now this fire incident
Yeah.
raises some kind of important questions
Mm-hmm.
about their, future performance,
Right.
especially given their plans for growth. Yeah, how do you see this playing out?
Well, that's the million-dollar question.
It is.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
I think we'll just have to wait and see how effectively they can manage
Right.
the fallout from the fire
Right.
and keep things running smoothly.
Right. It's a test of their resilience,
It's like a real-life stress test, right?
Exactly.
How do they perform under pressure?
Yep.
So far,
Yeah.
it seems like they're handling it pretty well,
Yeah.
at least from what they've said publicly.
From what they've communicated, yeah.
So let's shift gears for a second
Okay.
and hear what the company's leadership has to say.
Yeah, let's see what they have to say.
All right, so looking back at the press release,
Okay.
again, Yugal Sikri,
Right.
the managing director,
Mm.
strikes a pretty optimistic tone.
Yeah.
He says, the overall performance of the company continued to be strong.
Yeah. Okay, so he's confident.
Yeah.
But is that justified?
Right.
Given the fire and everything?
Given the potential long-term impact of this fire.
Yes, exactly.
It seems like they're trying to,
Project confidence?
project confidence.
Yeah.
But are they...
They'd be downplaying it.
Yeah, downplaying the severity of the situation.
That's a good question.
It's definitely something investors will be looking at.
For sure. Investors will be scrutinizing that.
Yeah, in the coming months.
Absolutely.
Now, it is worth noting that Sikri also highlighted
Okay.
the company's 5-pillar strategy
All my pillars are right.
for domestic formulation,
Okay.
which does seem to be delivering results.
Yeah, based on what we've seen.
Yeah, based on that
And it-
strong financial performance.
Right,
that we've
yeah,
seen.
exactly.
So could you tell us a little bit more about this 5-pillar strategy?
Sure. So while the press release doesn't go into the specifics of every single pillar,
Okay.
it is clear that they represent a multifaceted approach
Okay.
to growth in the domestic market.
Okay.
So one pillar, for example,
Yeah.
focuses on strengthening their presence in existing therapeutic areas
Yeah.
where they already have a strong foothold.
Okay.
Another one emphasizes expanding into new therapeutic segments
Mm-hmm.
with high growth potential.
Okay. So it's about diversifying their portfolio and
Exactly.
targeting
Yeah,
key segments of the market.
right. They're creating a more resilient
Okay.
and adaptable business model.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's not just about growing, it's about,
It's about growing smart.
growing smart,
Yeah.
strategically and sustainably.
Exactly.
And it seems like this strategy is working,
It seems to be, at least domestically.
at least in the domestic market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's really interesting is
Yeah.
Sikri has even bigger ambitions.
Oh.
He wants to make international formulations
Yeah.
and their API business,
Okay.
which stands for active pharmaceutical ingredients,
Mhm.
the company's second and third growth engines.
Wow, that's pretty ambitious.
It is ambitious.
What are they doing to achieve that?
Well, they're investing a lot of money
Oh.
in modernizing their manufacturing plants
Okay.
and ramping up their research and development capabilities.
Okay.
So this suggests that they're not just trying to export existing products.
Right.
They're working on developing new and innovative medicines
Okay.
to compete on a global scale.
That commitment to R&D is really interesting
It is.
because in the pharmaceutical industry,
Yeah,
innovation is key.
absolutely. It's crucial.
The companies that can actually develop
Right.
new and effective treatments
Uh-huh.
are the ones that are going to succeed in the long run.
Yeah, in this industry,
Yeah.
you have to innovate to survive.
Absolutely.
It's a high-risk, high-reward game.
Right.
Investing in R&D shows that they're not content to just be a follower. They
Right.
want to be a leader.
They want to be at the forefront.
Exactly.
And amidst all this growth and expansion,
Yeah.
they're also being really smart about their finances.
Yeah, that's important too.
Sikri emphasized their focus on optimizing costs
Uh-huh.
and managing cash flow efficiently.
Yeah, they're not just spending recklessly.
Right.
They're being strategic about it.
They even plan to use the funds
Yeah.
generated from selling off surplus land to actually fuel their business growth.
That's a smart move.
It is, right?
Yeah, they're selling non-core assets
Uh-huh.
and reinvesting in their core business,
Right.
That's how you maximize growth potential.
So it shows they're thinking strategically about their resources
Sure.
and how to use them.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of that land sale,
Okay.
remember that exceptional item
Oh, yeah.
of INR 2,730 lakhs
Yeah.
we saw earlier in the financial statements?
I do.
That's actually connected
It is.
to this plan to sell off surplus land.
So it all ties together.
It does. It all ties together.
Interesting.
What's the story there?
All right. So that INR 2,730 lakhs
Yeah.
represents transfer charges they had to pay to the Maharashtra Industrial Development Corporation,
Okay.
or MIDC,
Okay.
for the land assignment.
Yeah.
Basically, it's a fee associated with preparing the land for sale.
It's like a processing fee or something like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
And they already have a buyer.
They do?
Yeah. They have a binding agreement
Wow.
with a company called KRSNA Dynasty
Okay.
to sell that land for a cool INR 14,563 lakhs.
Wow.
Yeah.
A big chunk of change.
It is. And the deal is expected to close
Okay.
in Q4 FY25.
So that means they'll have a pretty significant influx of cash
A nice cash injection, yeah.
right around the corner.
Exactly.
So what do you think they'll do with all that money?
Well, if we think about what Q3 said
Yeah.
about their growth strategy,
Uh-huh.
it seems likely that they're going to reinvest
Okay.
a big portion of that money
Okay.
back into the business,
Okay.
especially those international expansion plans.
Huh?
They might also use some of it.
To strengthen their R&D efforts even further,
Okay.
just to make sure they stay ahead of the curve.
Yeah, it sounds like they're setting themselves up for
It seems like they're in a good position.
continued success.
Yeah.
But before we get too excited,
Okay.
there's one more little detail
Okay.
from the board meeting outcomes
Oh, right.
that we should touch on.
Let's hear it.
So RPG Life Sciences has updated their Code of Fair Disclosure
Okay.
and their policy on related party transactions.
All right, so that's not the most...
Yeah, exciting stuff.
This doesn't sound super thrilling,
No,
but it does signal something important
it does.
about their commitment to good corporate governance.
Right, exactly.
It's like
right.
they're saying,
Yeah.
we're not just focused on profits.
Uh-huh.
We're committed to doing business the right way.
Yeah, transparency and all that.
Exactly. That should resonate with
Absolutely. That's important for investors.
investors and other stakeholders.
Yeah, builds trust.
It's about building a sustainable business for the long haul.
Right.
One that's not just
Yeah.
financially successful, but also
Ethically sound.
ethically sound.
Yeah.
So we have covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
Strong financials,
Yeah.
ambitious plans, a Suddy fire incident.
Right, a little bit of a curveball there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even a land sale.
It's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on. But I think we're starting to see
Yeah,
a clearer picture of RPG Life Sciences
I think so.
and where they're headed.
Absolutely. They're a company in motion,
They are. They're definitely a company in motion.
navigating a complex industry.
Yeah, it is a complex
Yeah.
industry.
Yeah.
There are challenges ahead,
There always are.
but it seems like they're approaching them.
They seem to be handling it well.
Yeah, with a blend of pragmatism and ambition.
I agree.
So
Yeah.
let's step back for a second
Okay.
and think about why all of this matters.
Yeah. Why should our listeners care about this?
Yeah, why should they care?
Good question.
What's the takeaway?
Yeah.
For someone who might be
Yeah.
interested in RPG Life Sciences, whether as an investor
Mm-hmm.
or just somebody who wants to understand the pharmaceutical industry better,
Right.
I think there are a few key takeaways here.
Okay. I'm listening.
First, RPG Life Sciences is demonstrating
Yeah.
strong financial performance.
They are?
Their revenue and profits are growing.
Uh-huh.
They're managing their costs.
Yeah.
That's a positive sign for any company.
It is.
But it's especially important in an industry like pharmaceuticals,
Yeah, where competition is fierce.
where it's so competitive.
Right. And healthy bottom line is essential.
That healthy bottom line can fuel innovation
Exactly.
and expansion.
It's the fuel for growth.
It's the fuel for growth.
Yeah.
And it's not just about the present.
Right.
They're looking ahead.
They're planning for the future.
They're planning for the future.
Yeah.
That investment in R&D,
Uh-huh.
that focus on expanding internationally,
Right.
shows that they're not content
They're not resting on their laurels.
to rest on their laurels.
Yeah.
They're looking for ways to grow and evolve.
Exactly. They're proactive.
And then there's that fire incident,
Right.
which, while it's certainly a setback,
Yeah, it's a challenge.
it's also an opportunity to see how they respond
Yeah, how do they handle adversity?
to these unexpected challenges.
Exactly.
Their proactive communication
Uh-huh.
and their focus on minimizing those disruptions
Right.
are all good signs
They are. It shows resilience.
It shows
And
resilience,
adaptability.
which are essential qualities in a business environment.
Especially one as unpredictable as pharmaceuticals.
That's often unpredictable.
Right. So it's like a real-world test, you know?
Yeah, it is a real-world test.
Yeah.
How do they perform under pressure?
Exactly.
And so far, they seem to be handling it
They seem to be doing all right,
pretty well.
at least based on what we know so far.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from what they've communicated publicly.
Right. Exactly.
And finally, I think it's important to remember
yeah.
that RPG Life Sciences
Uh-huh.
is part of the larger RPG group
Right.
that gives them a certain level of stability
Yeah, it's like a safety net almost.
and resources
Right.
that other smaller companies might not have.
Yeah, they have that support system.
Yeah, it's like a big
Yeah.
support system.
They're not out there on their own.
They're not alone.
Right.
They've got the backing
Yeah.
of a larger
Yeah.
organization.
Exactly.
So for anyone
yeah.
looking at RPG Life Sciences,
Mhm.
these are all
These are all factors to consider.
important factors to consider.
Yeah, they've got a solid track record,
Right.
ambitious goals,
Uh-huh.
and the ability to navigate challenges.
Yeah, there are always risks
Oh, of course.
in any investment.
Always.
But RPG seems to be
They seem well positioned.
well positioned
Yeah,
for continued success.
definitely.
So we've got a good grasp of the company's overall situation.
I think so.
But I'm curious, what about you?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Okay.
What stood out to you as you were
Yeah.
going through all these documents?
You know what really struck me was
Mm-hmm.
their commitment to modernization and innovation.
Okay.
It's clear they're not just trying to keep up with the times, they're actively trying to stay ahead.
Yeah, they're not just reacting to the market,
No, they're shaping the learn.
shaping their own future
Exactly.
and their investments in R&D,
Right.
their plans to modernize those plants,
Uh-huh.
and their focus on those new products
Yeah.
all point to a company that's embracing the future
They're forward thinking.
and not afraid to invest in it.
Exactly.
So they're making things happen.
Yeah, they're not just sitting back.
They're not just sitting back and waiting.
No, they're taking charge.
And in an industry
And in a fast-paced industry like pharmaceuticals,
as dynamic as pharmaceuticals, right?
Yeah.
That's really a differentiator.
it is.
It is.
It's crucial.
So looking ahead, what are some of the things you'll be watching for?
Okay, so for me,
In RPG's future performance,
yeah.
what are some of the big questions that still need to be answered?
Well, the big one for me is
Yeah.
how that fire
A fire.
is going to impact their operations and their expansion plans,
Okay.
especially internationally.
Right.
You know, they've mentioned they're working to minimize disruptions,
Yeah.
but it's too early to say
Right.
what the long-term effects will be.
So will they need to change their timelines?
Possibly.
Will they need to shift resources around?
Maybe.
These are all questions
Yes, these are all questions that
that need to be answered
need to be answered.
in the coming months.
Exactly.
I'm also curious to see
Right.
how they're going to use
The money.
the proceeds from that land sale.
Right.
Will they reinvest all of it back into the business?
Mm-hmm.
Will they use some of it for,
Dividends.
shareholder dividends?
It's possible.
It'll be interesting to see
Yeah.
how they prioritize them.
Interesting to see what they do.
Those funds.
Yeah.
And then,
there's the broader question of how they navigate
right.
this increasingly competitive, global pharmaceutical market.
It's a tough market.
It is.
They've got these big plans.
Yeah.
But
But there will be challenges.
there will be challenges along the way.
Yeah, so how they respond to those challenges
Right.
will really determine their long-term success.
Can they execute?
Can they execute on their strategy?
Can they differentiate themselves
Can they stand out?
from the competition?
Those are the million-dollar questions.
Those are the big questions.
Yeah, those are the ones that will really matter.
Okay, so
Like,
lots things to watch for in the coming
a
months.
lot to keep an eye on.
The pharmaceutical world
It is.
such a fascinating blend
It's fascinating. It really
of
is.
science,
Yeah.
business,
Okay.
and global trends.
It's always changing.
This deep dive
This has been a good one.
has given us a
Yeah.
lot to think about.
It really has.
We've seen the strong financial performance,
Right.
the ambitious goals,
The fire,
the fire,
the land sale.
the land sale. It's like a
real-life business case.
it's like a mini business school case study
Exactly.
all in one.
Yeah.
And it highlights something
What's there?
that I think is really crucial.
Okay.
Numbers
Right.
tell a story,
Yeah.
but they don't tell the whole story.
That's right. You got to look beyond the numbers.
They can be misleading if you don't understand the context, the
Yeah.
motivations,
The challenges.
the challenges,
The opportunity.
the opportunities that are behind them.
Right.
That's why it's important to look at things
from different angles.
Yeah, multiple angles.
Yeah.
To consider
Yeah.
the context,
The bigger picture.
the bigger picture,
Right.
and ask the right question.
Exactly. Don't just take the numbers at face value.
Right.
Dig deeper, explore the nuances, and really try to understand that bigger picture.
Just like we've done in this deep dive.
Exactly.
Hopefully you're walking away with a much clearer understanding of RPG Life Sciences,
I hope so.
their position in the market,
Uh-huh.
and the forces that are at play.
Right. All the different things that are affecting them.
So what does all this mean for you, our listener?
Yeah, good question.
RPG Life Sciences is clearly on an upward trajectory.
They seem to be doing well.
Strong financials,
Right.
ambitious growth plans, and a focus on efficiency.
Yeah.
But they're also facing those challenges.
Right.
A recent fire incident,
Of course.
and the need to navigate this really complex global market.
Uh-huh.
So how those challenges are addressed
Yeah, that's the key.
is going to really determine their future success.
That's what we'll be watching.
Now, the fire incident is
It's unfortunate.
an unfortunate setback.
But they seem prepared.
It seems like they're well prepared to handle it.
Right. Their response so far
Yeah.
suggests a level of preparedness and resilience.
Which is encouraging.
Yeah, it's a good sign.
One question
Yeah.
that wasn't explicitly addressed
Okay.
in the materials we reviewed
Yeah.
is how the fire incident will
Specifically.
impact their international expansion plans.
Right. Good point.
So that's something to keep an eye on
Definitely.
in their future communications
Yeah.
and financial reports.
Yeah.
Look for some clues in their Q4 FY25 results.
Right. See if they give any updates.
Yeah, if there are any updates.
Or if they have to adjust their plans.
Or adjustments to their plans.
Right.
So
This deep dive.
this deep dive has given you a solid understanding
Hopefully.
of RPG Life Sciences' current position.
Future direction?
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground.
But it's really just the beginning.
It is. It's a starting point.
What stood out to you?
That's a good question.
What aspects would you like to explore further? Let me think.
What questions are you left with?
You know, one thing that I'm really curious about is
Yeah.
how the fire might impact their supply chain.
Oh, okay.
You know, will they experience any delays
Right.
in getting raw materials or finished products?
That's a good point.
And how will that affect their ability
Yeah.
to meet demand, both domestically and internationally?
So it's not just about the physical damage.
No, it's about the ripple effect.
It's about those ripple effects throughout their operations.
Exactly.
And potentially even their relationships with customers and suppliers.
Right, it could have a cascading effect.
And that's something we just won't know
Not right away.
for a while.
Yeah. It'll take time to assess the full impact.
So it's definitely something
Yeah.
to keep in mind as we continue to follow RPG Life Sciences.
Absolutely.
Let's see how they navigate
Yeah,
the coming months and years.
exactly. It'll be interesting to see how they adapt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember,
Oh,
every deep dive
Right.
is just the beginning of a journey.
That's right.
It's a jumping off point
Yeah, it's a starting point.
for your own exploration and analysis.
Exactly.
So don't stop here.
Keep digging.
Dig deeper.
Ask questions.
Ask those questions
Yeah.
and form
Your own conclusion.
your own conclusion
Don't just take our word for it.
about RPG Life Sciences and their prospects.
Do your own research.
The pharmaceutical world
It's a fascinating world.
is a dynamic
Yeah, it's always changing.
and fascinating one.
Lots to explore.
And there's always more to learn and discover.
Always something new.
Stay curious
Stay informed.
and keep exploring.
Happy exploring.
Exactly. That's the key.
All right, that wraps it up for our deep dive into RPG Life Sciences. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure.
It's been fun.
And to our listeners,
Yeah.
until next time,
Stay curious.
stay curious.
Take the numbers with a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Do your own research, explore the nuances, and try to really get that
Yeah, and that's what
big picture.
we've done here in this deep dive. So
Exactly.
hopefully you're walking away with a clearer understanding of RPG Life Sciences, their position in the market, and all those forces that are at play.
It's a complex landscape out there,
Yeah.
but hopefully this has given everyone a good overview.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener?
Well, RPG Life Sciences.
RPG Life Sciences is clearly on an upward trajectory, right?
They seem to be.
Strong financials,
Yeah.
ambitious growth plans, focus on efficiency,
Mm-hmm.
but they're also facing these challenges, right?
Yeah, like we talked about.
A recent fire.
the fire.
and then the need to navigate this complex global market.
Yeah, it's a tough industry.
Yeah, so how those challenges are addressed will determine their future success.
Absolutely. That's what we'll all be watching for.
The fire incident is
Yeah, it's definitely a setback.
an unfortunate setback.
Yeah,
But it seems like they're prepared to handle it.
right. Their response so far.
Yeah, it's just a level of preparedness and resilience, which is encouraging.
It is. It's a good sign.
One question that wasn't explicitly addressed
Yeah.
in the materials we looked at
Okay.
was how the fire will specifically impact their international expansion plans.
Right. Good point.
That's definitely something to keep an eye on
For sure.
in their future communications and their financial reports. So
Exactly.
look for clues in those Q4 FY25 results.
Right. See if there are any updates.
See if there are any updates
Or adjustments to their plans.
or adjustments to their plans.
Because of the fire.
So this deep dive has given you a solid understanding
Hopefully.
of RPG Life Sciences' current position and where they're headed.
Yeah, we've covered a lot.
But this is really just the beginning.
It is. It's a starting point.
What stood out to you? What aspects would you like to explore further?
Ooh, that's a good question.
What questions are you left with?
Well, I'm really interested to see
Yeah.
how this whole thing with the fire affects their stock price.
Oh, interesting.
Will investors be spooked?
Right.
Or will they see it as a temporary setback?
Right. Well, they kind of look past it.
Exactly, because the company's fundamentals seem strong.
Yeah, they do.
But, the market can be unpredictable.
It can. It can be very.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a good reminder for all of us that investing in the stock market always carries some risk.
There's always risk involved.
You never know what might happen.
You just never know.
Even with a company that looks as promising as RPG.
So remember, every deep dive is just the beginning of a journey.
Exactly.
It's a jumping off point
A starting point.
for your own exploration and analysis.
Yeah, for your own research.
Don't stop here.
Keep digging.
Dig deeper.
Ask questions.
Ask those questions.
And come to your own conclusions.
Form your own conclusions about RPG and their future.
Don't just take our word for it.
The pharmaceutical world is a fascinating one.
It really is.
There's always more to learn and discover, so
So much to explore.
stay curious
Stay informed.
and keep exploring.
And happy exploring.
Exactly, that's the key.
All right, that wraps it up for our deep dive into RPG Life Sciences.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure.
It's been fun.
And to our listeners,
Yeah.
until next time,
Stay curious.
stay curious.